just picked up Hell Let Loose off Epic Games promo. You're excited. You can't wait to dive into the battlefield. You heard so much about this game that it's really intense. Some people even call it a PTSD simulator. You join your first battle. You die immediately. There are bullets flying everywhere. You have no idea what you're doing. Pretty much every single player went through this experience when they first launched the game, myself included. But by the time I'm making this video, I'm level 61 and I think I've gotten a good grasp of the game. Today I want to share with you 6 rookie mistakes I've made when I first started playing. So grab that field manual, private, and take note, as these things will be super useful when you play the game. When I first started playing Hell Let Loose, I've done exactly the same thing as I do with every other game. I wanted to jump in the middle of the action immediately. I opened up the server list, I found the one that had a decent latency and available space for players, and I clicked enlist. I did not pay attention to one very small detail, and that was the game mode that I was joining. Only after a couple of playthroughs I did realize that there are 3 different game modes that you can play, and they are different from each other. Those game modes are Warfare, Offensive, and Skirmish. And while the core objective of each one is fairly similar, you need to capture a certain area and hold it, the way that you play each one is a bit different. And my intention here is not to go over the differences between individual game modes, because there have been many videos created on this topic, and I will be sharing some recommendations that I used when I started playing. But I think it's important to emphasize that you must understand what game mode you are playing, because it determines the way that you're playing and what you will try to achieve and what your team is trying to do. And if you fail to do that, you might end up at the wrong place at the wrong time and not helping your team. And like in every online game, when you're not helping, you might end up reading some, let's say, not very pleasant comments in the general chat. So if you don't want to end up in the spotlight, make sure you understand what is the game mode and what is the current objective, and I'm sure you will avoid this. Ah, yes, roles. So many to choose from, and each one is a bit different, but do you really know and understand what each one means? Each role offers a unique play style, and each one is tasked with different things and objectives. So you picked engineer because you always aspired to build things, but do you really understand what is the first thing you need to do? Or maybe you want to carry a rocket launcher and destroy those enemy tanks, but do you know how to find them, and more importantly, do you know where exactly to hit them to be effective? Or better yet, you decided to be an officer, but you have no idea that one of the things you need to do is build outposts and garrisons for your team. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that each role delivers different abilities to the battlefield. Not knowing them is like eating soup with a fork. You will be successful, but it's going to take time and it's not going to be pleasant. And I think this is the perfect moment to recommend to you guys the series that SoulSniper did. He's got excellent tutorials on all the different classes, how to play them and what to expect. Make sure to check him out. I'll drop the link to his channel in the description of the video. Now this is going to be a pretty short segment, and it might be a bit unintuitive at the beginning. Hell Let Loose is not Fortnite. It's not about getting many kills and being top 1 in terms of your combat efficiency. It's a team game where you need to achieve a certain set of objectives. Killing the enemies is only a means towards that goal. You will not get flashy messages congratulating you on killing an enemy. In fact, many times you won't even know you did it. The sooner you realize that, the better, because it will change your whole mindset and you will start cooperating with your teammates and working together towards a common objective. Instead of just hunting the enemies and going for that next kill. That's not the point. So if you're joining Hell Let Loose community thinking that it's your typical FPS, well, maybe you should look elsewhere. Efficient communication is one of the most essential things in life. It works great in both your personal and professional life. And it works even better when you're playing a high-intensity battlefield simulator with 50 other people.
We're losing cattle sheds, guys. If you die, redeploy at cattle sheds.
Enemy tank coming on the...
Copy.
Staying in touch with your teammates often is the difference between winning and losing.
Maybe you can place OP a little bit further back.
What I found most difficult when started playing Hell Let Loose was actually breaking the ice and using the voice functionalities in order to relay information and communicate with my other squad mates.
Charlie, I think very close to your location there could be an enemy outpost, perhaps behind that building, which you guys should be able to see.
Yes, we're looking for it.
I eventually realized that sharing information is very useful and somebody will take advantage of it. So don't be afraid to speak up and use your microphone while playing. Sharing information and coordinating with other squad mates is really useful. If you do not have a mic or you're just afraid to speak, you can always use the chat functionality. Any kind of information is much better than no information at all. So please, please, please communicate while playing. I've already covered a lot about different game modes, different objectives, various different roles that you can pick up while playing Hell Let Loose, and I hope all of this is starting to make sense and build a bigger picture of the game. And this is exactly why it's really important to follow orders while playing. If the squad leader asks somebody to play as support and drop supplies in a given area of the map, it's probably because they want to build a garrison there and use it to push for the next objective. Or if you're being asked to play as engineer and build nodes, it's probably because we need more supplies in order to spawn tanks or bomb the enemy. So next time you hear your squad leader call out, hey, I need support or I need engineer, the best thing you can do is just pick up the role and do whatever the squad leader is asking. After all, this is a team game, and if your team wins, at the end you're gonna get a nice, juicy 50% bonus to your experience points. It's gonna happen from time to time that you will find yourself hundreds of meters away from the current point of emphasis. It's not perfect, but it's bound to happen. Either your team has just won the cap race and took the enemy objective, or the other way around, you lost it and now you need to defend a point which is 100 meters away. The first reaction you're going to have is just to grab your rifle and run towards that point, but it's actually not the most efficient thing to do. What you should do instead is simply redeploy to the garrison that is closest to the current objective. It saves time and is the most efficient way to move around the battlefield, even though you have to incur that 10-second penalty when you redeploy manually. It's still worth it and allows you to be in the spot where your team needs you the most in the fastest possible way. That's all I got for you today, guys. Hell Let Loose is a really awesome game. If you really immerse yourself and understand it, you're gonna have a lot of fun. Thank you for watching the video. Hit the like button if you found it interesting, and if you want to see more content, don't forget to subscribe. I'm Gertrix. Cheers to you guys.